Yeah, it's quite zero.
Mm.
Some to still it. There was a certain then some Johnson.
So first of all, to all of you, I'm very happy that we have this opportunity to meet today.
The theory also the one channel Kasangwell was a Lam-Rim Jimbo Shach Montoya, which is song. They know the Rajimal Consensual Sonjuna de Lojong corridor. The decoy on Kajik is what to Chitana about to say. It was in rains.
So actually, the topic of this class is usually on the middle length Lam-Rim, but because next week we have the teachings from His Holiness, which are going to be on mind training, we thought that maybe it would be interesting to do an introduction to the mind training today.
Yeah, that equally check some of the most to Martina to not teach the Rosh. So on the Nijikan, no Jones and the Dijins some Rosh, that is quite.
So today probably we cannot go very in depth on this mind training on this text, but I hope we can have an overview of the topic and have an understanding of what is mind training.
That you don't Lojong said the book the chick cousin Nambi and Nyalemba so in the Lojong would pay Mambush Sonshire. That they on chick so Nyamlen chair tea, that chick near Nyamlen chair, so Nyamyon today. The indigenous and indigenous penton to Seattle, the ma, and the chick the judge on a moose test. What they were on the sunshine, young Baris.
So this, in general, this tradition of mind training, there are many different types of mind training. So each practitioner, each Dharma practitioner, many masters, they compose in an easy to understand way and easy to practice instructions on how to practice the Dharma. And there are many different methods or instructions on mind training.
Yeah, that you don't Lojong as on the Tondade, the Namjing also Lam-Rim Zena. That summer, we Chipichita don't know again. Go Tajelis Yungre, and the young Soso, Shetang Tamlam, Sondang Tamlam, and Rashimuramato. Weird that summer Chipichang pops out of it.
And the goal here, the goal with this mind training teachings, they're the same goal as with the Lam-Rim, right? So it's to train our minds. And if this is explained in an extensive way, or if it's explained in a abridged, in a condensed way, it's only a difference in the way that it's expounded, not a difference in the goal itself.
Yeah. The chicken number 30, Lojong, the Tiring also the chick share to the Lojong to them as yet. And a Jedon Lojong Sigamas and the Talojong Pemo Boyer. And the Tiring Nosendima, the Kudrichede, Lojong to them as it.
And today, the text of mind training that we're going to talk about is the 7 point of mind training. Yeah, the 7 points of mind training.
Yeah, that day, don't the Korongi any Lojong the mean Korongi. That they don't the Karzina. Chick Nyamle and the Korangi and the Sombabo and the Chakawishi to Chise Korangi. And the Korangi, the Nengando, Chick Susunimari Yamlechiana, don't down to Dungang the Sawadana, and a Pentoyor.
So here this text, so it's called the 7 points of mind training. This is the composer, Geshe Chekawa. Yeah, Geshe Chekawa Yeshe Doje. Geshe Chekawa, he condensed into the 7 points. So through the 7 points, if we're able to use the 7 points in our daily practice, as using this as how to think, how to practice every single day, this is beneficial in the 7 points.
Yeah. Tadi Nyamle Chair, Rambati, Nichik Konang Mason be Kablia, Tambo de Cargo reason de Mondos and Mondo, Tamondo, and then Chishebas, the same chick chill. What daily uncle Nancy was a part, the same not a chin at Cure, Tambo Mondos at Chishebas.
And the first one of these points, the first one of the 7 points, I sent in the group in English if anyone wants to look. So the first one is about the preliminaries, or you can say introduction. So the first thing that he says is first train in the preliminaries. And these preliminaries, they can be divided into 5.
다들 원도래 라이 갑리야. 다 무슨 원이 장들도 가르쳐 버리는데 다지 장적심 디강나 삼로다야. 뭐 데레스 다 장적심 송이 갑리네요. 고 안에 돈담 그 존에 삼로다는 지 그저 그 존에 삼로다는 디가 원래 가르고래서 디까지들.
So why is this an introduction? An introduction to what? Right? This is the preliminaries to what? To the practice of bodhicitta. We can talk here about ultimate bodhicitta or conventional bodhicitta. So this is the actual practice. Yeah.
야, 디원래야 다 가르고래서 우리 원도 주시. 다 됐송이 갑래야 담보 가르고래서 우리 다 넘버 소위 직전에 장ኛ에 망보시. 남이 남절세시. 남이 남절 상관도 된 그런 바 직송이래.
And before this, before engaging into the actual practice, what do we need? The first one of the preliminaries, maybe many of you have already studied or heard about this, is called the Guru Yoga.
다 남이 남절세 아니 지단이 다 남이 남절 공통 그냥 림바 문자 망보시 거래요. 다 이제 기용 것은 참마의 기용 것 참념도 공통의 관계에서 수술이야. 다 수술하는 게 지 라마 자이 라마 순르지 다 수술 미수술 자이 라마 문자 용식으로 된데 자이 라마데 수술을 다 기원이야. 아니 공부여서 기원은 수술을 다 인등 그 남가래 생각다 되게 삼아담고 그래서
And Guru Yoga, there are many different stages, many different levels to the practice of Guru Yoga. To say in short and brief is visualizing your root lama, your root guru. So many people are going to have different root lamas, and you visualize your root lama in front of you in the space.
Yeah, that indeed, kachate, chong ekableon chik nebar de dichi kazor dichi. Tapa ni zewang do cheni in Italia, ani indi lama di nebar de zawachim gumgo retaze, pa zewang de tang yo maimba. But indeed, any chik gomia di pento carriere, the carcheni zawachim chagores. The nebar de mazuchi ha kukuda. But the yanchik calling nebar de chachi kurda, quite the cheese on some let me.
Yeah, and something that we need to understand when we engage into this practice of Guru Yoga is what are the reasons, what are the benefits for engaging into this practice, for considering the Lama or the Guru as something special or precious in this practice, because it's not something that is forced upon you. It's not something that, oh, you should consider as precious, and maybe this practice can have some resistance by the part of some people if they don't understand the exact reasons and benefits of this relationship or this practice.
Yeah. The Lama says, Susulia, say Lama, Susulia, touching dot the Lamton Nanki. Hey, country is Sablotango, Arizona, touching Sanjini, my Jupiter, Lama, touching Tandism being on it, Chicta, Sanjay Lama, Chansen Tamabos, so I should get some mar namchen roshi namchen roshi ne soso ya ma zo musu ko shi to ya ma ko so ga chi do da na namchen sen na chi ksap roshi ta korang ran ma chon ne korang ran ge ndne soso ga chi yamdar lo jong che tindig sa wa tang to ko bers.
So the way that we practice during this practice of Guru Yoga, so we visualize our root lama, and all the lineage of masters, of Indian masters, Tibetan masters, until the Buddha, Shakyamuni, all of these great masters that existed, we didn't have the opportunity of meeting them in person, of getting teachings from them. So we visualize, we training, seeing that the Lama, our root Lama that we have direct contact with, we train to see them as an emanation of all these Buddhas, all these masters, or a representation of these Buddhas and masters.
Yeah, tanto dana ti tindigis ta sosoga kong ya stechi so tam kuzoga cherlap tsama kujini sosolia ta cherlam jiyo ba stechi ta sosoga sama atanggoya ta jing kenani laminam jokom donglen do choda nga chok mro yungre ta nga chok do ne ko pe tenza bo tindi sama ta ya mro shi ta dinga so ni tsama diri shi de na ko yuma ko rema ta wa tindi shi
And then by making supplications, by making requests and praying for the root Lama, through visualizing it as being the nature of the lineage of masters, you get the blessings from this lineage. You get the blessings, and then there are many different explanations in this, in sutra or tantra, different ways of explaining. But today we don't need to go into all of these explanations.
Yeah, that indeed that Dodana ne that Lama Tisani so which loves and so top the chick so around it Yajin in Hochum Samba Tindi Colons in the dog and Tindi some neighbor tanko. I'm owned by the teacher of the Jinchemi Susul in Chitoya. The Juni so in and Lama Tiso Gomba Najinki. Sinjim Mombushil Pento Chitoya. The Tindi Chelapsi Susu Tokuya.
And in brief, we request these blessings in order to benefit us, in order to help us, to aid us in cultivating the qualities of the path.
Tijini Susu Tachi Jambang Chow Mombuchitoya.
And then we have the recognition that through these blessings, we are able to engage into works to benefit other sentient beings. We have this strong motivation in this direction.
Yeah, that in one road chewing the Tambo Laminam Jacondom was a dish. Don't doubt the Tinish, Tagomtom, drawing with it. Don't doubt the chick, some tomok, don't doubt the Tinish.
So basically, this is the common meaning of the practice of Guru Yoga. There are many different ways of meditating, actually meditating on Guru Yoga. But this is the basic meaning, the way to visualize and requesting the blessings.
Yeah. Tani tangondo chu tini ma karagors and namjelo dog namshis at some tangores kachashir. Ingondo chu
and then inside these preliminaries, so we talk about 5 preliminaries. The other 4 ones are what is called as the 4 thoughts that change the mind, or the 4 thoughts that turn the mind.
Yeah, they publish that's only couple. Tachik Tambo, any chick, Tanda was any Tanjuniaka, Samataya, any Chamatapa, Legendre, Dinipa, and Queen Yamu. That is so chick Nima Tambo, was in Yamare, so Tambo, and in Laminam Shurkum, Tijil Karagum go raise here, Tikachet, Tijilia, Tanda, and in Lodon number jetting Rumbach and Samatanko, and then the Lord Jung Tikachet.
So inside this 4 thoughts that change the mind. So the first one is going to be about thinking about the freedoms and favorable conditions and the hardship of getting this. So related to the precious human rebirth. The second one is going to be impermanence and death. The third one is going to be about the drawbacks or the drawbacks of samsara. The fourth one is about karma. Yeah.
That one. It leads to the summer.
So sorry. The karma is the third one, and the fourth one,
and
it's about the drawbacks of samsara.
Yeah.
And the thing here, the advice here is for after meditating on the Guru Yoga, you do the Guru Yoga practice every day, and after this you meditate, you reflect upon these 4 points.
Yeah. Tatonda de Lojong de Carson, Nimachila Soso Lojong Kablia, Chikom Javikal, Tambo Karsam, Nibagas, Sambasi, indeed with Ama, Nirumbashi Sonshashiro.
And here he has said all the stages for each day during your practice. What are the stages you have to think? After reflecting on this, what's the next thing, and the next thing?
That Deni Tanda Mondo taking out Satsavijina, that Musi Soso. And
after finishing these preliminaries, this introduction points, what is the actual practice? These are in the introduction to what?
Maybe
many of you have heard, because this is something that His Holiness constantly talks about.
So in brief
here, the actual practice in the mind training is going to be about bodhicitta and interdependence or emptiness this year.
但第所有搞了，我是讲这个心讲完些，搞不了，短短讲这个心才行。去所有，对卡尔这种的，但都那地方的嘛，就那地方是的。
So the first one here that he's going to talk about is about the ultimate bodhicitta.
Yeah, 他第一搞不了呀，看这是中国要的种的，他就多的呢，安去谈些，所个他这么些囊些，那刚他们些的没了囊性个少了，没了囊性个少了，当过的种的，我最近没了么个搞不了，咱们这没了就不学当呀，咱们这里样就被定个住，就是刚刚学车的，真的搞不了，刚刚学车的没了当一个了呀，谁送的被结果，对没了人都是什么东西。yang chi so so mala na ki po shu shi me de ka le ya chi sim de de mala yin ba ha ko so sim ba chi ma de wa dong san sang de chang de ta de cha ma dong da ka so so ge sim ka pa tin sha shi ma to yer ka gang za ni ho ma re se de pe jan ni gang le ka so ma zo nam ji ma se na ya ta chi kan re shi na ka da du de je da chi cha ma de mala na shi so so ge nam to ka pa tri sha shi tanto de na tin nam to che sha ti ma so tanda tin no zu de ors tilia segu kris ka che tire ta muir.
So the first advice here of Geshe Chegawa, he tells us, reflect on every phenomena, every phenomena being like a dream. So our dream, when we dream, our dreams can be very happy. We can have very happy experiences in our dream. We can also have very scary experiences inside our dream. But once we wake up from these dreams, if we wake up from a nightmare, we have a happy feeling, we have a relief, we have some relief because we have the thought, oh, it was just a dream. There was nothing on the side of the object that was causing me suffer. It was only through the power of my thoughts or my only through the power of my namtok. Yeah, it was something made by my mind, basically. Something fabricated by my mind. It was nothing outside that was harming me, for example. And also when we have happy experiences in dreams, then we wake up and we kind of feel a little bit uncomfortable. We kind of feel a bit disappointed that it was just a dream. But in the same way, there was nothing on the side of the object, only something fabricated by the mind. So here he advises us to see every single phenomena in a similar way, in a similar fashion, being like a dream.
Yeah, the only time was a chick namji read in Malam Jawashi. Then I said that the Sama Suso same tune. Chick Kangando in a Sama Mamboji, same party Shashimo to Yirkatin Zawadi Omaris.
So basically, every obstacle, every problem that we face, we have the recognition, oh, my mind is because of my way of thinking, my mind is projecting this problem. It's not that the problem exists outside of my mind.
So with that, Jutan Sama the Tereshasi, you could in the Zawanimento, so Sama Tachi,
You get some
Sama Soso, yeah, Tachi Kiama Chikan Kashin, the Munia, Soso Pomdi Mambo, Lochinchal Mamboshik. Taya takes on the Ganzelit. Sama didn't John Tungur, but Sama time. Namjing Hako Kablea, Atamuni Chik. Someone Trua, Bajikan,
and even now it might be hard for us to see all of these problems, all of these phenomena as illusion, right? As something created by our minds. But the idea is that with each passing day, with each practice, each habituation, the more we get habituated to thinking in this manner, it comes a time when we naturally recognize that all the causes and conditions for these things to appear to us, for us to face these things, come from our mind, and also we can think of past lifetimes, the habituation, being very habituated to these things in past lifetimes, and eventually meeting with the self-grasping,
现在苍嘛地整个要把那当初但里地几当这位那么下，就可以把定这个可以从苍嘛那当时，谁不还管呢？这个没能谁能行？
And then eventually we can realize that all the causes and conditions for this to arise, they come from this process of interdependence or dependent origination coming from this ignorance of self-grasping. And then when we recognize this, that all the causes and conditions are actually coming from these links, that's the being represented, symbolized by waking up from the dream.
Yeah.
One question.
Can I, the causes and conditions, for example, if we see a house, so the causes of conditions of the house is also connected to self-grasping. Like I can understand maybe some emotions, the condition for them is self-grasping, but is everything like that? So
Yeah. Yeah. That is the only. That's so. Thank you. Condition tamata se del perali. It depends on the how to see. Condition tagyume. Eugene Rimbayam condition tagyume. Chok condition tagyume. Samala rally. Eugene Rimbadian Susu any dancing tintig any influence, dancing tintig shiki yana. Begin tone the Anton Majari. Tindig shiki mengi Eugene Rimbadets, but Tari Tawagan Tatona, young Tonton better than
Yeah, so usually the way we look at things in general, the way we look at things depends very much on the perspective or on the subject. So on the perspective the subject takes, and for example, if we have this self-grasping, a strong self-grasping, this influences the way that we perceive, the way that we see everything else. And if we talk about different ways, different stages of perceiving, going to a more subtle level, it also the object changes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because of the different ways of seeing, the object also is different, changes.
Yeah,
For example, an example here, this cup. For example, if someone wants this cup, and this person has no previous knowledge or education about this or about anything, let's say, the way that this person is going to perceive this cup is going to be, oh, this is something that we can use to drink tea, we can use to drink water. Apart from this person is not going to see anything else here in this cup.
Yeah.
And for example, if someone, let's say this person is an expert in cups, this person knows everything about cups. When this person looks at this cup, this person looks all the characteristics, this person knows all the ingredients, how this cup was made. The way that this person perceives this cup is completely different.
Yeah. Geshe
also, if a scientist looks at this cup, he also is going to have a different way of looking at this cup. He's going to see something different.
Indeed, Michigan that con indeed the bear tema tombo to it. It's a ching we up push usually some salon congregation. Go back at home to get Chapachiana, Karina, con Tibet, low bin jatan korang ke tin thong di pagete yurtiam kol pen mandrashir.
And let's say there is someone that has never seen a cup in his life or her life. So this person looks at this cup and sees an extremely precious thing, a valuable, unique thing in the world. And because this person sees like this, it gives this attachment and basically it sees a different object based on their background, their way of looking at the cup. And if it's a practitioner, and if this person is already habituated into seeing the impermanence or things not existing by their own side intrinsically, this practitioner, when looks at this cup, sees a completely different object too. Because this person has already habituated with in antidotes and in impermanence, this doesn't become a cause to rise, to give birth to attachment. When we look with our grosser consciousnesses, when we look just with the eye consciousness or with our sense consciousness in a coarse level, we just see something very coarse also in the side of the object, something very gross.
Yeah.
But the more our consciousness becomes subtle, the more subtle the consciousness that is perceiving this object goes, the subtler it gets, the subtler also the object becomes, and then this mind doesn't perceive anymore the coarse cup, doesn't perceive this anymore, it perceives a completely different object.
Yeah,
for example, if the consciousness becomes subtle enough to analyze, to perceive this in an atomic level, in the particle level of this, it's not going to see a cup anymore. It sees something completely different in an atomic level, this object.
Yeah.
Like when he will look at the cup, he won't see the characteristics, the physical, the coarse characteristics.
For example, if we look like at the atom structure.
Yeah, he will like I'm trying to imagine, like he will actually, when he looks to the cup, he will see the atoms.
Yeah, korange that korang karitrum to samagma, could jicharam ganamatangudane, could tirangodu. Taina nambi con nambi tatan, Yalimba with Tantamasu, Chichana Chusijan, Dimbani Kachishura. Dimbani Tatana, co the Tangaranshik, that is usually Kichimu Marete, the better Harium. Teni Ganico Tatanshir, then bed.
Yeah, so if we analyze, in this seeing the ingredients, the physical particles of this, then we talk about atoms. But usually in Buddhism, the practitioners, they talk about the two truths, so the conventional truth and the ultimate truth. And then there is not much talk about, it's not seen as important to perceive the atoms or this, but there is these two ways of seeing objects in a conventional way, in an ultimate way, that are being represented as being like completely different. You see different objects.
Yeah, take up the
conventional truth, when you talk about conventional. So it's just seeing it in a gross way, in a coarse way, it's just what we naturally see. What are the characteristics of the cup, etc.? This is a conventional analysis.
所以这了就被这当然的痛的那些，我呢听着我听对的民族，也可当然的这些对的民族些，
And
这个是些。
when it's analyzed in an ultimate way, so this cup, for example, this object, the way that we in the world that our society, everyone perceives it in exactly this way, then this ultimate analysis asks, does it actually exist in this way that we are perceiving? Does it not exist in this way? What is the way that it actually exists?
这大概讲了我说现在，他们是出售个呢，三个人些人用的，以前的人这样是全部修，以前的个这是个呢，他们是没了那些这些多，这我这当蹲点个那些些当七八来些，当到八当，蹲点的嘛可是看着呢，蹲点些，有些的有钱了呀，这个看这些，这个是全部有吧。 也建议个的这个就话的是当上呢，想把的研究着呀，可你被哈整个变着是全部当不要去。
So here, when it suggests that things are in 그런 생기랑 신기를 이초점
상바야 샘지랑 시리즈 샘가 바 아니 야 샘가 또베 바 다바츠마도 코로나니 자예요 말이지 그치지 생기 그 좀바츠마도 이렇게 가니 자네 그치.
So here when it's talking about seeing everything as a dream, is talking about how everything is of the same nature as the mind. Yeah? Same nature of the mind, not existing just from the side of the object. So it's talking about how, talking in related also to the ultimate analysis, talking how deep is the connection, the relationship between the subject, the mind that is looking at the object, and the object. It's a very strong relationship. That's what it's saying here.
This benefice gonyodo chandre chite sare karsem tanda de rapa gani ta tang de da ane yang de kipa chen buki ta tang ni de nyam de tete tang na ta de yong mar da de nam jing a zo rapa gani gzo ga nam sha gani ta tang se gzo dem ba da ton dem de ba ni ga nyam tete tang ga do na ta de yong mar de ta tang ga chen ni na o ta tang gzo ga gani ta do nam jing a zo ga zo 아직 감정에는 그런 거는 두삼삼죠. 이 베스 시다시 잡고서는 라바간 따던. 다 뭐니 돈담 거니 시잡고 베게 시바 참어다 따던 초샴바시네 따오나 딘디 많이 봐세. 딘이가 냠데 때려다나. 단 거녀서 위차에.
It can become a bit confusing if we start to mix these two ways of seeing things. So there is a conventional way of seeing things in a more coarse aspect. And if you look from other perspectives, you can have this ultimate analysis, this ultimate way of seeing things. But if we start mixing the two of them, it can become very, very confusing.
For example,
For example, this cup, the way it said that it has two characteristics. It has a conventional characteristic and the ultimate characteristics. We don't say this cup is ultimate nature or is conventional nature. It has both of them. Right? So because it has these two characteristics, so we don't say it is ultimate nature. We say it has the characteristics of ultimate nature. And then because it has these two characteristics, depending on the two perspectives that we look, conventionally or ultimately, we can perceive these characteristics. But both of them are there. Both of them. Sorry. Maybe I spoke too much about this. Let's continue. Like it was clear. And then the next one is the training in the mind that wishes to benefit others. So it's the conventional bodhicitta.
Tati tonda karese.
What is the
Chawar
meaning
anshinga
of this?
legro thako. Chanchu simse tonda karesonde.
This question can arise. What is the meaning of bodhicitta?
Tonda karesonde. Yen chet sani rani yas. Yen bajik chet. Shamba kona chet. Soso sanje kogurese tonda.
So
Tonda de tirta.
only for the benefit of others, only for the benefit of others, I must become a Buddha.
Yeah. Karchane gorese. Koso chet cho karchan sanje gorese. Tiwale sikra.
But why do we have to become a Buddha for others? This question can also come. Why do we need to do this?
Shamba chet ngela ka chego de launde shamba dalya. Chil tonda karla ore ropa shi goyo bashi.
If
we say that,
when we say that we must act for the benefit of others, this means that others need help, right? So that's the meaning. Other people need help.
That pento jamba la pento pena nga chi mi nga kola roba chi nga kola peni chi roba che kanto pena pe tab de wishana nga kola kamba poro chendo is ko sha po yana sha pa poro chendo onde ta kola sha pa chi chala wayando ta kola roba chi ko be to tanda de ro da.
Okay, so for example, when someone asks me to for help, so there is a reason. For example, to say just a very basic example, maybe when someone asks me to help to move houses, right? So this person has a need. This person needs me to go there and move his things, carry his things with him, etc.
Ta dendra wa tanta jempeng jamba ge chetiya and susu sanje gore ka chit she ka jamba la ani ta chi pento che go yo ba shila te ko ko ta de kan shira ta pento kar ko re ko le kanga kar yo.
And then in a similar way, when we say that we want to become Buddhas in order to benefit other beings, so this means that sentient beings need our help. But what do they need? What is the help they need? What is the problem they have?
That take college number so Janina. And the Lam-Rim chung ding chembose. Chembo solo lay a couple of Janjuk sim Jonton Shivre, Janjuk sim Tatachi, and the Chamba de Ninji. That thing Molia, Jew Chumutan ding, Samlote, Jew Chembo with Samlotia, Tamlamin, say, Dijon Mambono Sawyer.
So maybe some of you have already studied. So in the Lam-Rim, Lam-Rim is divided into three, right? So it's the small capacity, the middling capacity, and the great capacity beings, divided into these three stages of practice. And in the third and the great capacity is the training in bodhicitta. And the two other ones, the middling capacity and the small capacity, they are introduction. They are a preparation in order to train in the great capacity. And during the small capacity, the training in the small capacity, so we reflect. So there is a talk of the suffering of the three lower realms and the need to free ourselves from the three lower realms.
Shambala Robachego Carreso, Yana, Mandro Nil Cordishas, Yana, Dendro, Coin Dedis, the Dinger Denilia, and a Trogo, teach it, the Pento, teach it in and Sanji Kundisatanda de Casio.
And when we go into the middling capacity, the training, the middling capacity, so the middling capacity has done the work not to be born into the lower realms, not to face these sufferings. And then he's born into the higher realms, the gods and humans. And then in the middling capacity, you reflect, you analyze also the sufferings that exist into these higher realms, all the sufferings, all the categories of sufferings in samsara. And when we talk that we need to benefit other sentient beings, we're talking about these sufferings. We have to identify these sufferings and see how to help them.
Yeah. Tadagi Ganglia, any Chanjuk Sim Seti, Kajishi Kala, Jendon the Rani Sanji Componsi, Kachishima, Dick. Tati Yangale, one la Caragores, Chamba the Ninji says our place. Chamba Ninji said Carasante, Ni Jen Singentis, Dingala, and the Devata Teba, Jona, Yana, Chambache, Yana Dingale, and Trana somebody, Ninji. Dinger Dagi Ganishi there. Yana Jingasung Dinger, and then Koi Dinger. That daily Tartanas. Chanjo Sim Monia, Samuel Caragores, Dinger de Sor, Dinger de Trana, Yana Devachi Chona Samba, Chamsi, Chamba the Tsiva, Kores, Tandi Lam-Rim, Korajimba, Saula Tantini.
And before this training in bodhicitta, we need the training into love and compassion. And what is love and compassion? So love is the wish for all sentient beings to be met with happiness and the causes of happiness. So it's this wish. Compassion is the wish for all sentient beings to be free from suffering and all causes of suffering. Let me check this.
Something the Shambata Chamsi Samlote, a the Samlote, Tayala Karamiti Kargore, Shambati Dinger Sur, Dinger Hako, Dinger Tarna, Dinger the Tarana Zeti, and Yinjiche, Tati Devata Tena somebody Chamba. The and Chanjuk Sim Goyala, one thing about the
So in order to develop bodhicitta, we need this compassion. And since the compassion is the wish for sentient beings to be free from suffering, we also need the training. We also need to recognize, to identify the sufferings, to feel the suffering of others, to develop this compassion, the wish for them to be free from the sufferings. So we need to know the sufferings and then develop compassion and bodhicitta.
Yeah, that indeed, chick any meal, Pasho, the Kangatia, Sinanda, Robert Chego at the team, Bachash. Tadi Robert Chiala, Tande Nicol, Susoy at the Jowish Redona, Chickbus, and the Kangan on the Dinky, Mitch. The Robert Chetoya may only that Tambo and the Susoya chick. Kangatili Tartana, Sanja Kumatotana, Tinning each pentos here, touch. You judging be sure that chicken number somebody take on there. Mombo Kosari and Yanji and Yum Donish matter.
And in order to benefit them in this way, of course, if we are also now in with all these problems, it's very hard for us. So we make some effort in order to liberate ourselves from these problems, becoming a Buddha. Maybe all of you have heard this many times, so no need to keep saying.
Yeah, that it called Trajabochina Mambush to Titama Sutima to the That's somebody got received. Kodagi Ganglia, Lojung, Tonda, Dunga Ganga Samatan Koresionde, Tambungo Chitichi, Nipatu Muji, Ane Karzata, Ne Simchile, Tonda Sechi Chanju, Kanzo Sechi Samatan Donji. That's somebody got received.
Okay, so the first one of the 7 points mind training was the preliminaries, right? The introduction. The second one, the actual practice, which comprises of the ultimate bodhicitta, conventional bodhicitta, and now going to the third point.
That's something like Lea, Tanga Swim Messina, King Mambush Tigris, Kanga Mambush Tigris, King is in the King Kandijitena, Tintawati, that Chona than Dinale Soya Titeri. No GTV contact the King a chancellor on the Kiravasi. King a Tamjet.
So the third point is going to be called, let me just get the exact. So here in the PDF I sent is called Transforming Adversity into the Path of Enlightenment. So basically, when we're walking in our life, we're going to meet with many problems, many negative conditions, and this is the training of transforming these problems into help, into the path towards enlightenment.
That is Tonda Karasungo said that King a chancellor on the Chirsena, Tonda Karis, and a King and Kanadi Tiona, Tele, Tadang, Suzuki, and Tadang Javatanko, Suzuki, King and the Kanga tap in a Kanga Chitena, Kanga the Kanga in Bachanjam Gomtena, Kanga Chirin Romati Mares.
So what is the meaning here of taking this into the path of enlightenment? This is we have to change the way we look at it. For example, if there is a problem comes, we change the way that we look at this. If we can only look from the perspective of the problem as a problem, if we can only see a problem as a problem, this we habituate more and more with the problem, and the problem increases, becomes stronger and stronger.
Yeah. Tanda 가라정리 다 때리 다기 강네 에이슈가 나제레. 아니 pena ta kanga dande gana kanga imba gom sta saula tangde na gom jago yarta ni kanga gom der kanga ka se masu gom de na ko gomdi kande tangde chere dhuro.
So the more we see the problem as a problem, this is actually meditating on problem. This is a meditation on problem, cultivating problem and problem.
Ta de onde ta kingende chikanga de chona te ta nang kande jiro ta chichena korangi chona gashi ta chedong ta kingando kangando karina ko te ringram manda jong sigro ta te yang shik chelo den ramanda yung kore tele ya chigrali gre ta ina kanga kashi kora kanga yimba ngozimba tsamgya pe pendo korese ko kanga de ko kanga rendo as ko ge korone ko kandeji rendo aseme ko tigong lo yong le chetana ya mambo ji ranjin pendo tre
그러니까 저기 강가디
하고 또 문제 chetana ko kande chonga imba ta ko kandedi chin kono ngo ranjin ko ta dena ti kanga de lamsa meva salon matani kono chik pena chim tabi sosan ramade ngora kashile ching ngamta de shikchumle denge yang kashile ta kalzo ta chi simna chikatina simba dingishi pe chakpondo shi de denge katina chi simba matya de ta tirang la ko ani tingmunzi chetana
유겐 그리
제대 찐 사울로 당토는 약셔리 때문에 코로나랑 콜라 아니 코로나랑 원진 제토는 약간 뭐 보시 용어를 줬다 그랬어.
Yeah, so problems, when you talk about adversities or problems, negative conditions, etc., there are many different kinds of problems, of course. There are many different first kinds of problems, and then there are very, very powerful problems, very big problems, small problems. So it depends a lot. There's a big part of these problems, a big category, that just by recognizing the problem, being able to identify the problem as a problem, it helps to make it decrease. Even if you cannot eliminate this problem, just by recognizing just by recognizing the problem, there's great benefit.
Yeah. Te condeers in the penals of Pensundo, so that you come back in a chashu. Come back on the Lakpandoshi. Nazitanguna. Then now into some sound she jumped on the pen, Nasa Shichirdo. That Susota Nadi on the pen, Samson Lakpando, Kambado, Karina, Nasa Karina. Coach. The Nikora Kima there, Nikiel, no budget. The Dikacha, Samson Nasa in the Tangato. Take out Nasa, Lakparis in Navina. Quataran tea Nasati. Quatella Saula, the candy, chicken to some Taran tea gone so in Saulatana. The Nasa imbo, the Shichum Nagdo Saulatan, Pekachamarta, Nasa Gumia money. Nasa Ranga gone so and Semba Shani. The candy aging but Taran, Chitin, Pari, good Nachete laundry. The Pemomboyer Tati, numbers of Chichen and Yam Sir. Tate pension Zamrita, then Ajang also come and sing Kanga. And the Zipon can show. You know, that same Kanga, the Taran painter was so rankety guns. That they contain wanted. Yeah, a court Tatana, Bear Penton, arranging a
So, one example, sometimes we have a pain in our body. Let's say we have a pain in our wrist. And this pain is making us very uncomfortable. It's even harming our sleep. We cannot sleep very well because of this pain. Sometimes if we just stop and we just watch this pain, if we just feel this pain and we analyze where is hurting, where is the pain. This can be very beneficial for you to feel less pain. Maybe some of you have had experiences with this, but this is about a physical pain. But also with mental suffering, mental pains that we have, if we're able to just stand back a little and just look, just observe the pain, just observe this feeling, it also has a lot of benefit. Maybe some of you have had experiences with this. Just by looking at the pain, just by looking at it a little bit, it starts to dissolve, to decrease a bit.
Tintikam karche ore sangni pena sosota laban sinasa tangyo tirangla samutang tini sosoge ani samloge tiche yungore ta yama tangaso chik chalan dishina ko ti kale jana dukindu pa jana dukindu siyesh pa si tie jura ta chikar move che jura tindo soso natsa tichin ta ko yama soso samlogani tin yama shipche to shipche samutang Tindig chena ti tonda karizum nasa pikable susu logyong chewa teleya. Yang logyong shineya. Ti ta denga so tanda tsuda ko physical dong pichidro. Ta samlo gam kanga de ta tendro nga su any training che ko ta. Ti ama ship che kandi che to. Te kanga pe kanga gomtena yong marta. Ta ko kanga de ngwazini ti ama susu de che samdang tona. Teni pari korsoso komshinro sona pari chikawa jana chikar chechen sosoniya ani power ligris.
And for example, with the physical pain, a way for us to meditate is by actually studying the physical pain. So let's say we have a pain here in our wrist, so we see if it's going up or if it's going down and how is it moving. So basically we study, we take an analytical approach to the pain. And also this with mental pain, mental suffering. But this is not a meditation on the problem itself. It's not a meditation on the suffering itself and like with a complaining attitude. It's just observing and analyzing what is the nature of this pain, the nature of this mental suffering, etc. And the more we get habituated with this, if we get a strong habit of doing this, this can give us a very strong, very inner strength, a lot of inner strength. So whenever pain, this suffering comes, we are able to approach in this way.
Tindi chetona ta soso ani ta chik tini kangleya ta gomse na nyamlen se na tindi chik lawar ma de tele shamba gomse nyamlen se los kache yo marata. Sosa simna jongter tantanti ina lo jongra lo jongade lo dini jangare ma to ngaso lo jongse chik sacha jamba chilindro ta tiri lo jongge inta se musi dindi nima musa chi shayo mara na sosa nima re chi nyamnyong da pani kande cheni sosa tele ya dongne chiko kande cheni challenge.
And this is the way for us to practice the Dharma, right? So in our daily basis, our daily life, whatever suffering, whatever problems arise, how do we face them? How do we see them? When we talk about practicing the Dharma here, about training the mind, right? With the mind training, we don't need to set up a separate day, so a day for us to go somewhere else and to meditate, etc.
Yeah, and then dindi goni tanda jenga lam de cher seunde jenga shi kanga shi tengona lam de cher la kala ta de chancho lam de cher se ta pet thombore pet che sanje gi jel ndra ka chi ore ta dindi mena ya do de na susu ya chole ya sim kanga mao I chole ya saula tango re se ter ta tondo.
And the meaning here of this third point of taking adversities into the path of enlightenment. Enlightenment is a very big word. But basically, it's about learning how to look into a positive perspective. Whenever problems arise, you look into a positive perspective. For example, if you have to go somewhere else. And this road is very bad. It's really a very bad road.
Ina subsub shivicha go campus time pe subsubche tanda kar susun rotoya nanga kanga de kolanga kanga de kanga rite ta tele condition to tam kepo gani 간대치는 좋고 그랬어. 어땠다고 그랬어. 단다 강강 아술이 다 강강 이행바르면서 단다 야치고 싸우는 동안 거의 나네 같이 시고로. 다이나한테 텔레 간대치는 수수 동네 짓도 그랬어. 단다 딜라고 그랬어. 단다디.
So basically, let's say we have to go somewhere and the road is very bad. The road is all broken. So the way we approach this road, we can still walk the road, but we have to be careful. We have to know where to step. We have to know how to proceed. And in a similar way, so our mind is turned towards knowing how to solve the problem, how to walk the path. Because problems, adversities, they come to all of us. They are part of life. But the attitude is always thinking about how to solve these challenges, how to walk this path.
Yeah. Tapena taki langan roina. Ta langa ya wat saani mundu sami. Ta pe langa te soso gati centration de de ni langa de condition to exam ma ta pasho le ko yomara. Ko pasho de le la langa ti jinin trondu ro kore. Ta tabla tsere. Ta donda de ti kachidre.
But if our mind goes towards thinking, if our perspective we are habituated of taking is oh, this is such a bad road, oh, it's not possible to go here, oh, there's so many problems, and looking at all the problems, then we are never going to arrive into this other place.
Yeah. Finish pashi. Somebody finish in the next one thing. Sasamari.
Yes.
Okay, finish body in the Shibadi Konya. Shibadi don't caress word. Shibadi. And it's teaching Yamlid Tambasi.
So now we're going to the fourth point, which is applying the practice throughout the whole of life.
Yeah. Don't caress.
What's the meaning of this?
And the Kuranga Soya, that's also Matsina, Samla Taya, Yamlin or Chet, don't Sudeshana, and it Tobungasi.
So here he talks about, so if we think about how to practice during in our lifetime, so during our life, how should we carry our practice through the 5 powers? Here he presents the 5 powers.
So the first one.
So the first one of the powers is the first one of the powers is related to motivation.
Yeah,
motivation. Sorry, I didn't get the exact translation of this these 5 powers, but this 5 power, the first one could be translated as the propelling power. So what propels you, right? What drives you, which is related to the motivation, is related to what sort of promise, what sort of promise you should accept, you should make at the beginning.
This song be
and then here inside this motivation, there are three stages of this thought motivation.
And so shoppa yalani teri nima chigla ne lekka karchina samo kartana chik samati nima chik chileka chetsa samo tanze sama jempe bajil sama tangi sama tisamo chikore.
So the first commitment, the first stage of commitment is from the moment I woke up today, the moment I wake up until the last moment that I go to sleep, all my actions, every work I do, every thought I think, it's going to be just thinking of the benefit of other sentient beings. This is the commitment. The second one is every action, every thought I have, not only from this morning to until I sleep, until I die. from this lifetime I will dedicate to working for the benefit of others. Not working this lifetime, I won't work to achieve only my purpose. I will work 100% thinking on how to benefit, how to work for the purpose of others.
And the
third commitment, what is the scope of the third commitment? The third one, the scope of the third commitment is not only from this morning until I sleep, not only from right now until I die, but the third scope is from right now until I become a Buddha, I will work for the benefit of sentient beings. And then when we get into this scope from right now until I become a Buddha, that's the refuge, that's the taking of refuge from now until I attain enlightenment. So in brief here, these commitments, these motivations that we take, there are three, right? Three scopes. The smallest one is if you can make the commitment, the promise, that from this morning until I sleep, I will think only for the benefit of sentient beings, all my actions only for the benefit of sentient beings. The second one, you make a commitment for one lifetime. The third one, until you attain Buddhahood.
Yeah. So
this is the propelling power. That's yeah.
Okay.
So the second power, it's the power of meditation. I'm not here. Power of meditation. Yeah, so the second one is going to be the power of meditation. So maybe some of you have heard of the terms aspirational bodhicitta and engaging bodhicitta. So the aspirational bodhicitta is related to the first power, so which is just motivation. It's very powerful motivation. The engaging bodhicitta here related to the power of meditation is actually practicing, actually putting it into practice, actually doing something. So this is the second power, the power of meditation. So the second one is related to actually engaging into benefiting sentient beings.
Yeah, that's Sambando. The
third one.
Okay.
Maybe it's a bit confusing. So many first, second, third, so many numbers. Sorry.
Yeah. Then the to Sambando, to Sambase, to Nagarizoni. To so with indeed later Naki gets under Kandishi in the Tushan.
So the
touching Nimachilla in the Sauna and Semisi Tantric on Samba, the Maimba. Young the Gonia, and it Choshitsan in Micheba, and it took it.
So the third one is called the power of white seeds. Yeah, the power of white seeds. And basically here, the meaning is whatever positive activity you have engaged with your body and speech, you have no contentment for this. You're never satisfied, but a certain number of positive, virtuous activity that you have engaged in.
Yeah. Ndodana tachi ileka yae chotale kazi tona kazi totok tele choshi tsani menjo chi nimachi ya pochi atsamayi baro ndodana oda
in brief, this power is about however much you can do, however much you can engage into virtuous activity, you never give rise to contentment and satisfaction about it.
Tandini ne nibat kashitishur nibaza urta ane shiba konda shiba sunjin bitopse kashishir sunjin bitopse ta tonda karason taki gane chuju sarita tande tambo sumde tab kachakashur tab chikchana tab ta shirab ni sawla tanda shungara to tambo sumde maza karsene kurnon pemba tantong chanchi senkom tong tende tian chik getsa choshi mayimba yani ande kyonder tang kwa tang tozo tab kachatichi ta simba kabla shivi kabla ta shirab kacha shibadi tas
so the fourth one is called the power of refutation. The power of refutation. Okay? The three first ones, they're related to method. For whoever knows about method and wisdom, right? So the method is more related to your motivation. So the three first ones about which commitments, how should you carry about with your motivation, with your promises. The first one, the propelling power, and the second one and the third one, they're related to method, and this fourth one is going to be related to wisdom.
Yeah. Tandi shirabdi kareleya nyebo chenki seunde tangazu chi mandi batsama so ta chi kyun tanjang kun jongsa de karim ba ko so ne tang stepu tonto yaji ikashihores.
So the third one is going to talk about so this wisdom that we're talking, this is an antidote towards what? So it's an antidote towards something that is the source of everything that's not okay about things, everything that is a problem. So this is the source. So if we can identify, if we can see this in an extremely clear way, if we're very clear about what is this source, this is what it's talking about here in this power of refutation.
Yeah. The nambi taroganishin tanjeng jongsa suso danzin se shungara rani tsawa chimbo do dana kodewa shena rani tsawa chimbo shinzun sana rani tsawa chimbo shimba shinzun sana tati jile te ason chupche tashita karta karzana pena chala tsawa chimbo shivishivana tati kuma kinro karchinro sami lamsa te chik shaksayina yakpo shik shayaro da tati karichine ke son chupche kwasi chikpachi kyangri ta suso tsawa chetana tati lamsa game son chupche ti samlo telekta.
Yes, so this, if you talk about in the perspective of Buddhist philosophy, is perceiving the I, your I, perceiving the I as something extremely precious.
Yeah, sorry.
The first one is self-grasping.
Yeah.
In your body.
Rani danzi yosona, tati rani condition is so chupchiku. Kugin zamba nashinchi. And
then having this self-grasping, then we have the tendency we have to protect this self. For example, if you consider something extremely precious, for example, if it's a very expensive cup, very precious, then we are going to do everything we can in order not to harm this. We're going to create a very nice place to leave this, very protected from the outside. We're gonna do everything we can to separate this, to protect it. Yeah. If you think in a coarse way, in our life we have many experiences.
chloto ta ka kwan na chi desa ji na so chi ya de kwe desa yaksho de so dam go do ko desa karchen dam go nga za che ta so za chi mu ti bugli samya de nga za chi mu ti sum ta de za chi mu ne ko sha sa ji na desa ya bo shi ta ki chala se na desa ji na ya bo ta de ne khala ji na yaksho de nga go 다치 가차지네 니모도 날 셰고 두마도 샴바 칙데츠 칙 마가와 칙딩아 차이니 고 조금에 대권은 항상 공부사 다데 참마 원이 저는 소소가 삼노다나 소소자 아침 문제 배는 소소직 다치 딱 손지시 간다나 아니 연아치 능간 피크닉도 올라차 대사 약속이 하고 선선 대 가르치는 세운데 사원이 잡고 당타나 For
example, if you think in a coarse way, we have many experiences when someone comes to us and says some bad words, some bad things, we instantly feel it very sensitive. We are very sensitive to it, or we can get angry. Or also when we go to go, let's say we're going to have a picnic. So we have the feeling that we need to have the best place. We need to find the best place for a picnic. Also when we're going to have food, we want the best food for us. We try to find the best food for us. And if we think in a very deep way, if we analyze it in a detailed manner, why do we have this? Because we think that we are very precious. We hold ourselves as something very precious. And because of this, we need the best for us. We only need to listen, to hear good words. We need people to praise us or to say beautiful things for us, and ugly words or ugly things. This precious ear doesn't need to hear these things.
Yeah, tanto dana dinji ta chik dinji ta ndo sosole kanga tsama de chongsa ya bo sa no dang thona ko ta soso za chi mu zum ja de jong yo gan dang we ni se.
If you can think very sincerely, then the source of all our problems comes from this holding yourself to be extremely precious.
Pena andelo take gang ja na shi mi chi ta chik karla na chik tik cha shi lab shan na so we ta ma karla na la cha ba ma khang me sam so ji tong to ko karla na no mare.
For example, let's say someone says whatever this person said. Person says like senseless things, or the person says many bad things, etc. If you have the thought that getting wrong, that's so
much. Karla na lab malami ti ko chik lab sha ti ma so tanda ne pang karina position karina ti leo degree ro ka yo ma so karla jo ya ko shu de na na yare ro ka yo ma ra taina ma so ti ne pap ti ma sa so ma to ya
mi se pare de moi yeah, so if you can have, when this person is saying very bad things, if you can have the thought, the reaction of, oh, whatever this person says, it doesn't matter. Because if you hold yourself in a very high esteem, then it's possible to harm you, it's possible to bring you down. But if you're not holding yourself in this way, then it's not possible for this person to bring you down.
Lo yon si jema na ya dani kele mata shi se shorta dani ben da michi yo cha sha michi yo ba roba michi na tinang ge ta chi ngana de ge shon zhou yin sam ba ge sam lo yo na su su nga ji yo ma ta ma ji chong de
in the
mi shamba zu za chi mu su su mi su de za chi mu tong tu shamba la ren tong tu
in the 8 verses on mind training, there is the advice of regarding yourself as the lowest of all. For example, if you meet 8 people, you see yourself as being the lowest of all, and because of this, you have no arrogance. There's no arrogance that comes, and it also helps you to see other people as something very precious.
Yeah, 수수 고도선 양에 빼면 뭐 그러다 양에 고설이야 이치요 이치래요 이치 가져는 고도선이 수수의 lu jong le pe mo bo ra gro ta so so nga rang de ya po ji ten de na sham ba sen jang ya do ba yu ma nga shi nga ke pa yin sam lo de so na.
And the more we can see other people as being precious, the more we can see the value in other people, the more we trust them, the more we have trust in other people. The more we have trust, the more also we can learn from these people. If we hold ourselves as someone, I'm someone special, or then we don't have the opportunity to learn from others.
Yeah. So nga nani Geshe de yin sama savla tang chem ze pen mi ro pa mi chi na ji na nga Geshe de yin sama savla tang so so Geshe de chang gwe na je ba she ma so so yen len kare na rang cha re ma to je savla de tang chem ze Geshe chang de ji da nga ke pa yin sama de jo ke pa chang de mi si gu ma ra ina ta nga so rang sing ke samla de ta ra yong de shi to ila wo shi
nga
Geshe yin samba ke shin Geshe chag ma ra ina ta nga so rang sing ta ngen de ye shi yo san nga ti kan ta nga ke pa yin nga panjor nga chi po yin nga chi po yin mi sam ko ka yo pa de rang cha re ma de ke sam lo kar ta ma ta de jo ya man de yo ma.
And if we engage into this practice of seeing ourselves as the lowest of all, we don't need to worry, because it doesn't mean that we're actually going to become the lowest of all. It doesn't mean that any quality you have is going to disappear. Just like if we think in the opposite way, if we think, oh, I am someone, I am something special, I'm more smarter than everyone, etc. That doesn't mean that we're actually getting these qualities.
Ta tanda de ke kan she na she tin di sam lo tang tang ti so so ani sam lo tang tang kan di ji tang so so le ya pen to du se de re da nga chi ke pa yi nga ni yang na zik po yi yang na nga chi po yi sam lo ka che ma yo na ti kan nga ma re ti ho ta ta de ma yin ba shamba la ran tang ka di che ta so so de an masa ka ti zong tu ne ti so so le ti che ta so so ta ki gong le ya na so so sam lo kan ni any training ta ka lo ta lo che ni ta kan di che na pen to de lo jong se there is.
This training is about finding ways, like, if I think like this, is there more benefits? If I think like this, is there less benefit? Like we said before with the mind training, it's all about changing your perspective, the way that you think about things. So, for example, if I have this thing that I'm very intelligent, I'm very beautiful, I'm very rich, etc. Is there benefit? Are there drawbacks? And in the other sense, if you see yourself in a more humble manner, if you see yourself as lowest, and you training seeing the value in others, and you training seeing others as more precious, is there more benefit? So it's all about a change in the perspective, in the way of thinking.
Yeah. Tadi soso gadi samla tanga kasi toto kandi chena soso le pendo ma do. Tad kari chena kyong ra do. Tadi soso damya res.
And then it's our choice. It's our choice to analyze. If I think like this, is there actually any benefit? Is there more drawbacks? Should I think in this way, in that way? And then it's up to us to analyze.
Yeah. Wata dindi kaniya tanto dana lo jang tang sinanta gom jang tang sinanta muyir de derida. So samlo tang chole jo kandichi tang to. Samlo tang to de chik so le pendo go yong chole ya kachi samlo tang to ya joro gom ta gom yare to yo res. Chik gom ja inse muzen samla de ni dawa da lo da kache yo ma. So ndo ya nima chik ma si kitang langa ti na le so
So the meaning here of the mind training, the goal of the mind training is for you to find which way of thinking in this situation is more beneficial for me. It's more beneficial. Which perspective looking at this is more beneficial. And then training yourself in taking these perspectives, these ways of thinking. And this means meditating. This means that your practice evolves. The more you can assume this most beneficial ways of thinking, perspectives, it doesn't mean in order to train the mind, in order to meditate, it doesn't mean you need to go to a retreat, you need to spend days there alone by yourself meditating. The goal of mind training here is to, on a daily basis, in your daily life, whatever you meet, you know exactly how to see this, you know which perspective to take in order to be beneficial.
Yeah. The
last of the five powers is the power of prayer.
Yeah, that the molam said, Carla, what the that gets under was in some lot in the champagne, some of this down to now. That's some of the Chamber chit the insambe, molam da, moas, teacher goes there, don't that the message so the soul down this.
So the meaning here of this power of prayers is, at the end of the day, whatever roots of virtue, whatever virtue you have accumulated during the day, by whatever thought, whatever action you actually had, thinking of benefiting others in the positive direction, you dedicate all of these virtues also for the benefit of others.
Yeah, that is Shibat Chirwa.
Yeah.
I didn't understand number 3. I think I understood power of white seeds.
Power of
Okay.
Power of white seeds. Yeah, it's a very literal translation, I think.
Yeah, that don't know the
the meaning, yeah, power of white seeds, and now the meaning.
Then also gets a kind of leading use session, gets a sigh namjing a swinner. Gossams here, gossam. Don't know it. He is also chick some ya chop, Kazish down to her. That didn't Yaposhu time, that didn't do some of my imba. Katina till Choshita and Machia. Only on the Kazim Mamang Salapan, don't know it.
So the
Sapondo did Sapondo, Sapondo Sundo, Garboy, Sun, Sapon, sit to it.
Yeah.
Sit down the chiggy what some of my imba, so tinto come mamang, so take a show.
So the meaning here of this power of white seeds is, whatever you have accumulated, whatever virtue you have accumulated through your 3 doors, through all your positive actions of body, positive actions of speech, positive actions of mind, you don't think, oh, I have accumulated this, oh, I think it's okay, I think that's okay, that's good. You don't think like this. You don't have contentment. You're not content with this amount of positive actions. So you're constantly thinking, you're constantly wanting to accumulate more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
Anyone has any other question today?
What was the name of the 4th power?
The 4th power is the
Okay. The Molam Jari. Okay.
Let me just search exactly what. Yeah, refutation. Yeah. So it's called the power of refutation. Yeah, power of refutation. Refutation.
The Tonda Sinjimba Taki Ganglasia Najing, that Samang Sumantic, Tapena,
Sinjimatic no that you know concerns
Sunjimba Sunde, Pena the commando Pejana Yasari, Pena, and a Kumashi Pachasha.
So, for example, let's say there is a thief.
Yeah, that Koran Kumati, like Kumain say, and the killing Chigumara, Korakuma mines a bed, which is some girl.
This thief is never going to say, oh, I am the thief. This thief is going to hold very strongly to, I'm not a thief. I'm not a thief. I'm not a thief. He's going to hold it very tightly. But there is someone, let's say there is someone that was watching this thief, and he saw exactly how he went, he stole, he has all the evidence, he saw everything.
qualia, quando collecatão sama, qual xexana,
Mm.
ta kuma di ngol kuma mai samba, kelen chakpode, zawani me bazo sara,
Mm.
kuma ke male rale chaya jiro,
Mm.
sunjin zionde, ta di donda te pe dentro,
Mm.
ta tan tomati.
So this person that has seen the thief stealing and doing everything, this person goes and exposes everything, gives all the evidence. So he did like this, like this, like this. He says everything, and it's very clear now that it's a thief. So now this position that the thief was holding, that I'm not a thief, it's impossible to hold. He has no other choice but to say, I am the thief. No.
Ta dentro, pe
So
dentro,
just like this example.
Sama tachi susu dana ani nima tach masianang chi kangang khari tachi pinne se mara sama chongsa bishitsati chongsa de kwani chongsha zoni susu dangzin se za chi dangzin se da dan zamba se chongma se ta de chonglu chongto sama susu ni sinjin ba se ni di de za chi musme de tan jingme ba 이거 강한 상황을 좀 거의 봐 하고요나 단단히 이제 봐서 순진비 돕세요.
So
So
in a similar way, so the source of all our problems, all our suffering, all the things that are not okay, all our sufferings in life, so it comes down to this self-grasping, right? To hold yourself extremely precious, this self-grasping. So, but when we recognize, when we see, oh, how this self-grasping does all of this, when it becomes clear for us that this self-grasping is actually the source of all these problems, when we can make it extremely clear, only then we can refute it. We can wake up from this situation. Yeah. So this refutation here, that's translated as refutation, sunjin, means to completely destroy it or to completely uproot.
Yeah, completely wake up to.
Completely wake up. Yeah.
Okay, maybe also the shopping.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe too much.
Maybe we leave here.
Yeah, the lot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe can stop here. And do not tunda caresen that any sanyani consensual sonchu soyade any lojong corte lojong di on the carson you made. Don't down to what they do shingasima. Share this. 그는 그 손주 손에대 로종 근데 지전에 근데 그 많이 로샤 시그레 레시피 때에서마다 참만 레시피 많이 갖고 있지 소용가 이나다 돈도 드리지 가면 수고야 상상시 그래서 소당 아주 드리듯이 뭐 저쪽시.
Yeah, so this is one of the topics that His Holiness is going to be teaching on next week, and today we just try to cover as much as possible, like just an introduction to the topic. If you go word by word, it's a very condensed text. It's a lot of meaning, and we don't have time to go through each and everything. So that was the idea today, just an introduction.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. If anyone wants hot water, coffee, chocolate, please feel free.